The first few years of our marriage weren't bad. We were happy, or so I thought. We had been together since college, and on our wedding day, we were surrounded by friends, all offering their congratulations and envy. Back then, Mia would take my arm and smile as she helped shield me from drinking too much at our reception. "He's not a heavy drinker. Don't push him too hard," she'd say with a laugh. I was easy to please. The occasional concern she showed was enough to make me give her all my love. On our wedding night, there were many guests, and I got carried away and drank too much. When we got home, Mia had already prepared a glass of honey water for me and changed into a red nightgown with her hair down. I caught a sweet scent from her. It was the feeling of home I had imagined since childhood. Warmth, security, and something that made me feel settled and comfortable. In my eyes, Mia and this home were everything I needed to protect for the rest of my life. Duh. In our second year of marriage, Mia's mother fell ill, uterine cancer. Our peaceful life was suddenly thrown into turmoil. There were doctor visits, chemotherapy, and radiation treatments. Her mother's health rapidly declined, and the atmosphere at home grew heavier by the day. We need to take care of her properly. A caregiver isn't the same as family. They won't be as attentive. But I just got promoted and got a raise. I can't quit my job now. What do we do, Liam? At that time, Mia had just been promoted to team leader in the PR department, thanks to her boss's recognition. Meanwhile, I was still a struggling interior designer trying to make ends meet. We discussed it, and I told her, let's wait a bit longer. Once this big project at my company is over, I'll take some time off to help out. But that day, she wouldn't let it go, getting hysterical and demanding I make a decision right away. "You only make $3,000 a month. This dead-end job isn't worth it. You should quit and stay home to take care of my mom. I'll give you the money. I can support you." She had me convinced. I had held on to my dreams of becoming a designer for so long, but they hadn't borne any fruit. I thought maybe this would be my last shot. If it didn't work out, I would focus on family. But I didn't expect that on the day of the project presentation, my opponent would pull out false evidence, accusing me of plagiarism. Not only did my dream of advancement crumble, but I lost my job entirely. I had no idea how things had gone so wrong. It felt like all the energy had been drained from my body. I wanted to fight back, to defend myself, but Mia had soothed me, saying, "We can't fight this. Just take this as a chance to stay home and take care of my mom. It'll be good for you to clear your head. What matters now is my mom's health. As for money, it doesn't matter who earns it, you or me." So I listened to her and gave up my job to stay home. I thought that by sacrificing a little, I could help keep our family together. But in the end, I realized it was all part of Mia's plan. The person I slept next to every night was the same one who had handed over the evidence that ruined me, taking away my pride and dignity. Even now, people in our circle still talk about me. A graduate of J University, caught plagiarizing designs. Has he run out of ideas, or has he been a ghostwriter all along? I started shutting myself off, not wanting to hear any of it. At first, Mia would comfort me, saying, "No matter what people say, I believe in you." How could she say such hollow words so easily? "Mia, do you even have a heart?" My harsh question received no answer. Instead, Mia fainted in front of me. My first reaction was still to pick her up and rush to the hospital. She had always had low blood sugar, and she had fainted before at home due to her overworking and skipping meals. On the drive to the hospital, I couldn't stop thinking. Was her weakened state because of actual work, or was it because of our recent tension? Part of me wanted to believe her condition was partly due to me. But when I received the test results, all my fantasies shattered like bubbles. Mia was pregnant, 3 weeks along. Everything had been wishful thinking on my part. There was no dramatic unknown father storyline. I knew the baby wasn't mine. For half a year, she had shown no interest in me. Maybe she never had. Every time we were together, it was all an act on her part. I have to admit, she was a good actress. Since the hospital didn't allow overnight stays, I came back the next morning with breakfast. When I walked into the room, Mia was already awake, but her guard was up, her hands protectively covering her stomach. I no longer had the energy to care about how she saw me. In silence, I opened the lunchbox and set out the meal. Eat. There's no poison. She hesitated for a moment before starting to eat, perhaps thinking that I wouldn't dare poison her in a hospital. After she finished, I handed her the divorce papers I had prepared. Whether you believe it or not, I wasn't the one who exposed you. And I'm serious about the divorce. You're the one at fault here. I could ask for more in the settlement. But I won't. I just have one request. Give me the evidence you used to ruin me back then. Mia's lips moved, but I cut her off. Don't tell me you didn't keep it. I know you always keep backups. You must have it. I never expected that our familiarity with each other would become a weapon in our negotiations. She nodded and agreed. I didn't linger, packing up the lunchbox and throwing it in the trash as I left. It was our last meal together. Mia, I hope you and him will never be happy. I wasn't trying to be magnanimous. I was petty, and I held grudges. Why should I, after giving everything, have to watch the ones who betrayed me live happily ever after? There's no justice in that. Mia handed over the evidence without a fight, and the divorce process moved smoothly. I cleared my name with the evidence in hand. Although it had been a while, and no one else really cared anymore, I just needed peace of mind. I found another company, starting again as a junior designer. Thankfully, I hadn't lost my skills entirely after all those years, and I quickly started taking on independent projects, earning bonuses. But despite the success, I started growing tired of everything in this city. As I contemplated whether to start fresh somewhere else, I heard news about Mia. Liam, did you hear? Mia Jung quit her job and is planning her wedding. She's eager to marry that regional director. Hearing her name felt like a distant memory. I took a sip of whiskey and replied, I know. She's pregnant, so she's in a hurry. My friend couldn't contain his shock. What? Pregnant? So what was your marriage all about then? I calmed him down, explaining. She told me she didn't want kids, so I had a vasectomy after we got married. What I hadn't expected was that later on, she would start seeing motherhood as a regret in her life. That was when I finally understood. Mia hadn't changed. She simply never loved me.